What's up, you guys, and welcome back to the channel. So it is currently 5:30 in the morning and HP is heading out of town today. He's driving to Minnesota to pick up something that is really cool that we will be adding to the fleet.
So in this video, I'll be taking you along and you guys can see my journey all the way up to lovely Minnesota.
So with that, let's get started.
Now, the vehicle of choice all the way up to Minnesota, about 12 hours, is my lovely Ford Ranger. And now we do the ceremonious passing of the camera. Give me that. Time to go to Aubrey's father's house, who will be joining me on this trip. As much as I'd love to drive with a 6-foot tall father-in-law in my 1996 single cab Ford Ranger with 185,000 miles, I will not be doing that. We're actually going to be taking his giant 2006 double cab Tundra because unfortunately this little Ranger cannot do what we need it to do when we get up to Minnesota. But I do think that she probably could make it. I have high hopes. Alright, so made it to the father-in-law's house. This is Aubrey's father, Hank Janik. He's the second Henry in my life because my first name is also Henry. His name is Henry and my father's name is Henry, which is really confusing. But he goes by Hank, I go by HP. Now we're taking his giant 2006 Toyota Tundra. It's a double cab and it has more towing capacity than my vehicle weighs ×3. So we're gonna be taking that all the way up to Minnesota. So let's get going. Well, we made it to Mission, South Dakota. We finally stopped at a hotel, not quite Minnesota, but we've got some driving to do tomorrow. Logged a little over, I think like 13 or 14 hours worth of driving, which I like driving. I drove a lot of the way. Hank helped navigate and when we had cell service, but we're here, Minnesota tomorrow.
The next morning.
All right, so apparently it rained last night. Couldn't tell you because I was asleep. But we're back at the truck and we're about to hit the road. Just a quick 6.5 hour drive, nothing to worry about. We can knock that out in no time. And just like that, we are here in lovely Minneapolis. It's like 70 degrees out. It feels super nice. And tomorrow is the day that we go look at the super surprise.
Later, in the void.
All right, so this is it, the grand reveal. This is what Hank and I drove over 1,000 miles for, all the way from Plano, Texas to Minneapolis, Minnesota, introducing the newest addition to our fleet, a giant 2013 Radiance by Viewfinder RV camper trailer. Now let's go take a look at it, but before we do, I have to say we weren't actively looking for something like this. We are going to be renting this out on Outdoorsy, much like we're going to be renting out our van when that's completed, but we're also going to take good use of this because we will be going on some nice lovely camping trips and we can't resist having this home on wheels. So without further ado, let's get into it. Walking right on up to the main steps. We have a lovely, spacious interior on the inside. Before we get into all that, our main master bedroom is actually, ooh, you can barely see me. Our main master bedroom is actually right this way. Let's go take a peek. So we do have a full-size queen bed on the inside with a lovely storage compartments and lighting throughout. Now this is the coolest part about the main master bedroom, is that this is not just a mirror to look at yourself when you sleep. This one is actually a TV that rotates and swivels all the way around back. You do have 2 open doors. So when we come into this main room, we can see that we actually have a slide out that bumps out like an additional 6 feet or something crazy like that. We have the dining room table right here.
and that is movable, but all the chairs are strapped down. We do have a couch to either sit and lounge and relax on, and that actually turns into a bed. Now, mind you, this sleeps 6, so you could actually put another bed down on the main floor. Going to the side, we do have a freezer and refrigerator, which is really cool. They're nice and latched, which do stay nice and chilly. Now in the kitchen, we do have a lot of countertop space, which I'm really excited for. Aubrey and I cook a lot, so we're definitely be cooking on the road, especially even if we go camping. That's something we love to do. Now, you do have all this lovely countertop and storage space underneath. We do have a full range up top, 3 burners, and we even have a little oven down here. You couldn't bake the coolest, biggest casserole that you'd want, but you can maybe make some nice Tostitos and taquitos and what have you. Can't forget the microwave if you're trying to heat up some lovely popcorn too for a nice camping trip. And then we do have twin sinks as well. Now, you might be thinking, HP, when you go camping, where are you gonna poop? You're right, I got that covered. Coming to the bathroom, we have the plastic throne. It's not porcelain, but that's fine. We do have a full-size shower in here as well. So even when you're out on the road, you can take a shower, which is really nice. Nice little skylight too. And we do have a nice, lovely bathroom cabinet to store all your stuff. And a nice little sink to wash your hands too. And storage galore. I mean, there's a lot of storage in this thing, which I'm really excited about because I hate having to cram stuff in whenever you're going camping. You never want to have too much stuff or just cluttered everywhere. Now you might be thinking, pretty cool, but what else is there? Let me show you. Let's head on outside. As you can see, I have the awning fully open, which it's lovely. This is so nice. Can you imagine just sun beating down and have this nice lovely awning cooling down, having some chairs set up next to a nice little campfire? We're in the parking lot of a DoubleTree hotel, so not the ideal space where we'd have this, but this is where it sits for now. Now let's go ahead and take a look at this pull out. I think you guys are gonna like this. Now, say if we're outside and we don't want to walk 5 feet inside to our kitchen, this opens up to reveal another kitchen. This is the outdoor kitchen, and this is so freaking cool, guys. I mean, you do have lighting on the inside, you have some cabinets for another makeshift pantry, but this is the even cooler part. I have another stove top outside where you can get to cooking, and you can actually put these down so they don't get grease splatter everywhere. But you can do another 2-burner cooker out here, and if that wasn't enough, you even have a slide out rail that you can pull out, and you can actually attach the propane grill. So you can do some grilling, you can have the side dishes on the side. I am beyond pumped. And then naturally, another refrigerator, which we may not keep because we have a pretty good sized refrigerator, but I guess if you want to keep some nice frosty brews on the outside, you could. We are pumped. This is a double axle, and this weighs about 5,700 pounds, so it's a lot to be towing, and I've never towed something this big before, but there's a first time for everything. And funny enough, this morning before we actually went and I went to go take a look at the trailer, I was hooking up the brake controller to actuate the brakes in this thing onto Hank's truck here in the parking lot. And not my ideal spot, but it worked out perfect, and the trailer brakes wonderfully whenever I'm trying to stop. Now on the outside, you can see it does pop out quite a bit. That's fine, not really obstructing anything. Now this does run on a number of different power sources. If I wanted to, I can hook it up and I can have water running to it constantly, so I have fresh water to fill up my tanks. And it also does run off of propane gas. So I can run a lot of stuff off electricity if I plug it in, which is shore power. And then I also have these 2 front propane tanks on the front side, so I can also run off things like our refrigerator and even our burners off of propane gas, which is like awesome. I don't ever have to use electricity. If I don't want to, I can use propane. And I have 2 extra storage tanks, which is really nice. Coming in the side here, we'll go ahead and prop this up. This is where we keep some necessities, like our grill right here. We keep that in here. And then we also have some tools when hooking it up to the dumping site whenever we dump out all the poo-poo black water and gray water and whatnot. Now, let me show you a little bit of the controls for this, because it is operated off of controls. This is a little nice control panel. I'll get that to focus. So the control panel will let me operate the slide in and out. Let me go ahead and bring those in. And it actuates the entire wall, moves inwards. So this is what it looks like whenever you retract in that bump out, and you can see it is like a lot more cramped in here, but it's really cool because that shows you how much room you actually get whenever you slide this out. So this is the closed position, so whenever you're driving, it makes it a lot more, you know, narrow, so you can actually travel down the road. You're not bumping into people with your bump out. Now, looking at this control panel, I had to turn off some of the lights because this doesn't have that much battery left on it. But this controls all of your inside lights, your cabin lights, and this even controls the awning, which is electric powered, which is so cool. The awning automatically retracts. I don't have to sit out there with one of those jacks trying to jack it in, which is really awesome. Let's go ahead and fold that back in while we're doing it. Now, this is kind of one of those lovely things in life where Aubrey and I were not looking for something like this at all. We had no intentions of buying a giant RV and putting it on outdoorsy platform. We were gonna stick to just our camper van, but man, it's one of those things where Aubrey's father had a friend who his stepfather was selling this after a couple of years of use, of light use, and he had a great price. It was a deal that we just couldn't simply pass up upon. So we're very fortunate to have this fall into our laps, and we're super excited to be making some content with this thing. Another great addition to our Turo fleet.
The next morning.
All right, so the trailer is all loaded up behind us. I got Hank in the front seat, bailed him out of his meeting, and we are ready to go on our way back to Plano. Away we go.
Much later.
Hank is now detaching it. Hank's pulling the truck away, and we have parked the camper right smack. Hi, pup. We have parked the camper right smack in front of his neighbor's house. His neighbor is very kind to let us keep it here just for a day. We can get all of our stuff out of the truck, and then we'll take it tomorrow to the new lot where its temporary home is gonna be until we end up renting out this vehicle. Now, we just drove over 1,000 miles. Hank looked it up, and I think it was right about 2,300 miles we had driven all the way, starting here from Plano to Minneapolis and then all the way back. So, successful trip. I've never driven something this big. Hank hasn't either, so this has been a huge feat for both of us. So now the trailer is back in its permanent city home here in Dallas, Texas, where it's gonna get rented out. Very fortunate to have driven all the way here and had no issues whatsoever. Kind of fiddled with the brake controller because trying to figure out the brake bias, how much the trailer has to brake when we brake, was hard to figure out, but just kind of a trial and error kind of thing. We made it here, no flats, no other issues, and everything is nice and sound inside the camper. Guys, as always, be sure to hit the notification bell, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next episode.